Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. When Season of the Chosen launched, Bungie updated the loot pools for Destiny 2's older dungeons, the Shattered Throne and Pit of Heresy. For Pit, this includes adding current max power versions of the weapons Apostate, Blasphemer, Heretic, Premonition, as well as adding current power Dreambane armor. Even cooler is the fact that those weapons roll with specific perks only found on the Pit versions of those weapons, and the armor that drops from the final chest will have much higher stat values and is guaranteed to have at least 2 stat columns with at least 16 stat points. That being said, it's definitely worth farming Pit here in Season of the Chosen, and in this video, I will show you guys how to solo Pit of Heresy without using the best loadouts, and I'll be showing you a way to cheese the harder encounters, making them much easier. But first, I do want to let you guys know I'm doing a silver giveaway over on Twitter. You can find me at Pyro Gaming, just like my YouTube channel is spelled, and I'll link the giveaway tweet down in the comments section below. Let's get to the video. So let's start with loadouts. I'm running a Bubble Titan with Helm of St. 14, Warlocks rock that well with Phoenix or Transversives as usual, and Hunters can run either Invis Tether with Orpheus Rigs or Nighthawk Golden Gun for quick DPS against the final boss. My weapons are a True Prophecy hand cannon, a main ingredient fusion rifle, and Xenophage for my power weapon. Xeno might sound like a top tier weapon, but trust me, against this boss solo, not so much. You run out of ammo quickly. I ended up having to 4-phase them, and yeah. This is the only loadout that I'm using this entire thing. From beginning to end, I won't be changing any armor except for putting on jumping exotics for the jumping section, but I won't be changing my weapons at all. This is what I'm using the entire time. Swords and shotguns are great for the final boss, but come with a lot of risk. Snipers, grenade launchers, rockets will be your safest bets because you can play distance, but ammo will be an issue. Run what you're comfortable with, and remember, you have as much time as you want. Be sure to adjust the armor mods for the ammo type you'll need. For example, if you're using rockets, throw on some scavenger mods, so on. I also tossed on some charged with light mods. I use Taking Charge, Protective Light, High Energy Fire, and Stacks on Stacks. If you're using masterworked weapons and making orbs, these mods help a lot. You can also go with Warmind Cell builds, but it limits you to using Warmind Cell weapons. So if that's what you're into, go for it. For the first encounter, it's pretty straightforward. You'll always drop down and start at this same little shrine you see me starting at. Kill the Orange Bar Knight in the shrine, and a door will open that will lead you to a sword bearer that drops a sword, which you will need to kill all 3 of the bosses located at 3 temples with the symbols matching the 3 symbols in the back of this first sword bearer room. These are random locations, and the bosses are randomized as well, meaning each boss might not be at the same symbol that you see in this video. One boss will be a wizard with 2 smaller wizards with solar shields in the same room. You want to focus the 2 smaller wizards before engaging the main boss, and once the 2 smaller wizards are down, you can only damage the big wizard using the Bearer Knight swords and performing heavy attacks, which launches projectiles. You can also damage this boss as well as the other 2 with the sword's super attack when your super meter is full. Once dead, you can look at the back of the wall for a reminder on the other 2 symbols and head to the next one. The second boss you might get is the Shield Knight with a bunch of Thrall around him. Kill Thrall first, then use the sword's light attacks to damage this boss. Also, you can use the sword super again if the meter is full. If your sword runs out and despawns, you'll find a sword bearer just roaming randomly around the map, and you'll also see mini-boss ogres that will absolutely melt you. So keep that in mind as you're traversing these trails. Always play distance. The last boss is a giant shrieker with 2 ogres in the room. Make sure you are guarding with the sword not only to protect yourself from dying, but also that's how you damage this boss. You reflect incoming damage back at the shrieker, aim it towards the open spot, and you'll see the damage numbers pop up. Once the shrieker is dead, head back outside and you'll see a beam of light coming out of one of the temples near the middle. Go in and kill the gatekeeper to finish the encounter. The chest will spawn just inside the door. Next, you'll reach the immune Ogre maze. Now, the way you're supposed to do this encounter is run around and find 3 knights. Kill them, then take the balls that they drop to 3 gates and deposit them. We aren't gonna do all that. You can actually duplicate the balls in this dungeon. It's really easy to do, and you just walk up to a totem where you dunk the balls, hold down the button it tells you to hold to deposit the ball, and when the circle is about 3/4 full, you hit the button to swap weapons. Doing this makes your character dunk the ball and drop a ball at the same time. It turns 1 ball into 2 balls. I'm saying balls a lot. If you pick up the new ball too quickly though, it'll despawn, so make sure that you let it set on the ground for a second or 2 before picking it back up. There are immune ogres that chase you around in here, so use your supers and invis when needed. But if you take the path in the video that I'm doing, they're pretty easy to avoid for the most part, and you can just kill the 1 knight and go hit 3 gates and be done with it. Also, ball, ball, ball. The next encounter, aka the Chamber of Suffering. This next encounter is where a lot of people are going to fail and have the hardest time. Good news though, we can cheese it too. These balls can also be duplicated. Get ready, it's another ball encounter, folks. So killing 1 knight and picking up 1 ball will let you dunk that ball 6 times to finish the encounter. That's all you need to do to finish this encounter is dunk the ball 6 times, or dunk 6 balls, but we're only going to do the 1 ball because we're duplicating balls, 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 balls. It's all about timing. Like I said, 3/4 of the way full, you do a weapon swap, and your character will dunk and drop a ball at the same time. And you also need to remember to step on the big plate in the middle in between dunks, because failure to do so will result in the wipe mechanic triggering. This is where bubbles and wells are going to be huge helps. Hunters, you can still dupe the ball, but you'll probably have to turn around and kill some stuff to stay alive, most notably the 2 sniper knights that spawn up top and just constantly boom ya. I'd go with an invis here for sure. You also want to have a solar weapon equipped for the next encounter before you rally the flag in this encounter. There isn't a rally banner in the next encounter, and since you don't really need ammo in here because we're duping the balls, you might as well get ammo now for the next encounter that we go to. This encounter will likely take you a few tries to get it just right. Again, it is all about timing, and it also has a little bit to do with luck. So, just make sure that you're letting the new duplicated ball set on the ground for a second or 2 before picking it back up, because if you pick it up as soon as it drops, it will despawn, or at least it can. So, just take your time here, and run around if you need to, take a breather, hide behind a rock, whatever you need to do. Just don't get discouraged whenever you fail a bunch of times, because you will. Your next encounter is going to be the Wizard Maze. What you're supposed to do here is look at the 3 starting symbols and go find those symbols in the mazes. These symbols have set locations and you can find maps online. I personally just start on the left and go in a big circle and stopping whenever I see enemies on my radar. There's a lot of jumps, so make sure in here to pop on those jump exotics if you have them for Titans and Hunters. Warlocks, good luck. All 3 wizards will have solar shields, so this is where the flag rally I mentioned in the last encounter is gonna come in handy. Honestly, the hardest thing in this area is just finding ammo, but if you have plenty of ammo to start the encounter, it shouldn't be too bad. Just play distance and don't rush because these wizards will melt you. Just pop those solar shields from a distance, focus on the wizards. When the wizards die, the rest of the adds will despawn. Once you've killed 3 of them, you can go ahead and progress to the next section. Now, if you've made it this far, you got this. You're at the final boss, aka Crispy Crota. He's in the center of the room by his crystal and has 3 bosses surrounding him in the outer temples. These are the 3 bosses that we met in the opening encounter and function the exact same way, meaning you'll need the bearer sword to damage them. Killing the side bosses will drop a charge which can be deposited into the 3 totems around the boss's circle. Once the 3rd charge is deposited, I'm sorry, did I say charge? I meant ball. Once the 3rd ball is deposited, the boss will begin his damage phase. Any weapons damage the boss as long as you're standing inside of his circle whenever it is glowing green. You aren't forced to use the bearer sword against this boss like you were the other 3 bosses, but if you do run out of ammo, you can use the bearer sword for extra damage. He will slam you, he will push you back, and he will also launch fire at you with his sword. Cursed Thrall will spawn during the fight too, so you need to look out for those. Use the bubble and the well here, obviously. Hunters, Orpheus, Rig, Tether to control ads, or Nighthawk for big chunks of boss damage, assuming you're able to pay attention to the ads around you as well. When the boss slams his sword into the ground, that means it's time to leave his circle. You die if you don't. So that's the basics of the fight, but guess what? We can dupe the balls here too to make things easier. Let's go cheese. Hell yeah. You do it the same way as the other 2 ball encounters, and I find it's easiest to just kill the Shrieker in the back, since the Shrieker's projectiles can track you from so far away. It's best to get rid of him, plus you literally just need to block with the sword to kill him. Each time you dunk a ball, a small wave of ads will spawn around the middle, either Thrall or Acolytes. Just take a second to kill those off between dunks. Sword Knights will also continue to spawn. I find it's best to whittle their health down and kill them just before the 3rd dunk so that you have 1 less enemy in the circle for the damage phase, because the Sword Knights will follow you into the boss's area for damage phase. The order you dunk the charges in, the order that you dunk the balls in does not matter. Just be sure not to dunk with the boss standing directly in front of you, because he will send you flying. Honestly, the hardest part of this fight is not getting boofed off the map and honestly finding ammo. Put on a concussive dampener mod and a melee resist mod to help keep you alive, and remember, you can wait for your super to recharge in between damage phases. Going into damage without a super to protect you is pretty risky, and I wouldn't recommend it. So just to reiterate, let's go ahead and run through this whole process again. Start by getting a bearer sword. Go straight to the back of the room and block with the sword to kill the Shrieker. Kill off the first wave of ads that spawn after the Shrieker dies. Dunk the ball by duplicating it into one of the totems. Kill off another wave of ads. Dunk the second ball by duplicating it. Kill off another wave of ads and Sword Knights. Go ahead and kill them too. Then dunk your 3rd ball without duping it. You don't dupe it on the last one because there's no point. Go into the boss damage phase. Watch out for the Cursed Thrall until the boss puts his sword in the ground. After his mechanic is done, rinse and repeat until he's dead. In each new phase, you'll kill the Shrieker again, and that's the only side boss we are touching. I'm not going into the left temple, I'm not going into the right temple at all. There's no reason to, just the back one and the center stage where the boss is. And there you have it, guys. That's pretty much it. That's all I got for you, man. Hopefully this helps you out and you're able to get this dungeon done and get that armor at the end. Drop a comment in the box below and let me know what armor stats you got. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. But if you enjoyed this video, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching and take care.